My name is Catherine. I am 24 years old. I am an American girl. My father is very rich. We had more money than most people could imagine. But money does not always bring happiness. I was spoiled. My father bought me everything I wanted. But still, I was restless. I used to sneak out of the house at night. I went to clubs. I lied to my father, telling him I was in class, while I was out drinking and dancing. One day, I told him I needed a driver. And he agreed. One morning, something happened. My father dropped his wallet by accident. A young man saw it. He picked up the wallet and returned it to my father. My father was pleased, and he asked the young man what reward he wanted. The young man was poor. But instead of asking for money, he said, "Sir, I don't want money. Can you give me a job?" My father remembered I had asked for a driver. So he asked the young man if he could drive. The young man nodded. And my father said, "Start tomorrow." The next day, my father introduced him. "Catherine, this is your new driver." I looked at him. He was tall. Handsome. But he was black. And in my arrogance, I rejected him in my heart. I was rude to him. His name was Jacob. Jacob drove me every day. I told him to take me to school, but instead, I ordered him to take me to clubs. I told him not to tell my father. And Jacob never betrayed my trust. He knew my secrets, every lie, every night I spent drinking. But he kept silent. Then, one night, everything changed. I told my father I was going to study. Jacob drove me to the club. I was dancing, drinking, when suddenly, I saw my father walk in. He was there for a business meeting. And he saw me. Drunk. Out of control. His friends saw me too. My father's face turned pale. He was angry. Embarrassed. That night, when I returned home, he was waiting. He shouted at me for a long time. He called me a liar. And then, he locked me in my room. "You will not leave this house again," he said. I felt like a prisoner. The only person I saw was Jacob. He brought me food, books, and company. In my loneliness, Jacob became my only friend. One evening, he asked me, "Are you okay, Catherine?" And I broke down. Through tears I said, "I'm so lonely. You're the only friend I have." Jacob sat beside me. He wiped my tears with his hand. "You are not alone, Catherine. I am here." We talked for hours. He told me about his dreams. I told him my fears. And from that night, we grew close. Every evening, Jacob came to my room. We laughed together. We shared secrets. One stormy night, my room was cold and dark. Jacob came in. "Don't be afraid. I am here." He held my hand. He looked into my eyes. My heart raced. He whispered, "Catherine, I think I'm falling in love with you." Tears filled my eyes. "I love you too, Jacob." And then, he kissed me. My first real kiss. From that night, we were in love. We dreamed of a future together. But fate tested us again. One day, a fire broke out in the house. Smoke filled the air. My door was locked, I was trapped. I screamed for help. Jacob broke down the door. He carried me out in his arms. He saved my life. That night, Jacob confessed again. "I love you, Catherine." I want to protect you forever. I told him, I want to be with you, but my father will never allow it. Jacob whispered, then let's leave. Let's start a new life together. And I agreed. 2 weeks later, at midnight, we escaped. I packed one small bag. We drove far from the big house. Far from my father's control. We found a small town. We rented a tiny apartment. It wasn't much. But it was ours. Jacob worked in a garage. I worked at a gift shop. We had little money, but endless love. 3 months later, Jacob proposed. He had no ring. He made one from a flower stem. Will you marry me, Catherine? Through happy tears, I said, yes. Yes. We married in a small church. Simple. Pure. Perfect. Now, 2 years have passed. We live in a small house of our own. Jacob owns his garage. We work side by side every day. We are planning for children. I know Jacob will be a wonderful father. Sometimes, I think about my father. I wonder if he misses me. But I do not regret leaving. Because Jacob showed me something money could never buy. Real love. Kindness. A heart full of courage. We are not rich in money, but we are rich in love. And love is the greatest wealth of all. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.